Joe Turner's Come and Gone. It's worth just asking the question, where does that title come from? And it comes from a song. It comes from a song that told the story, told the sad story of the governor, the brother of the governor, who was in charge of the the prison system in the South, who would go out to find African American men, grab them, kidnap them, arrest them, and put them in the criminal justice system so that they could work in these penitentiaries like Parchment, Angola. These were all penitentiaries that were established during the period after slavery, during the period, the beginning of the Jim Crow period. Why were they established? So, what we call the prison system in America, the penitentiary system in America, was established particularly in the South as a means of labor to continue the work that slavery had to was done away with. So what that would mean is African American men would be taken in for very petty things, for loitering, for vagrancy, for predial larceny, stealing things, and so on, or for not paying back, not earning enough to pay back for the sharecropping situation that they were in, that they bought too many things from the plantation and couldn't pay it back, and they were in debt, and then they would be put in debtor's jail. And what they would do is they would go on the chain gang, and then what would happen in the prisons is that the penitentiaries were then a means to set labor to the plantations, and planters would come pay the penitentiary for the labor of these convicts, and they would have to work on plantations, and the money would go to the penitentiary. This is the beginning of the essence of what we have in America, which is one of the most the most pervasive and unprecedented prison system, and it was geared and designed around the ex-slave, the African American male who was taken, who had been freed from slavery. So in Joe Turner's Come and Gone, Joe Turner is the brother of the governor who would be responsible for capturing these African Americans, putting them on the chain gang, putting them in the prison system, and of course making them labor. And so he was a dreaded figure. And this song was a song that was sang by women saying, Joe Turner has come, taken my man, and gone. And in fact, the play is about Loomis, who disappears. Loomis disappears from his family in the South. He flees his family in the South because he fears lynching, and he has attacked a white man. And because he has done that, he is in danger of being caught by the Klan and lynched. So he leaves, he escapes. But in escaping the South, he leaves a wife and daughter. And in leaving the wife and daughter, he creates a new life for himself, but he's haunted by the memory of the life of it for himself. And of course, his wife is Martha, who comes at the end of the play to say, I'm back, and here's your daughter, and you need to take care of your daughter now. It's a fascinating construction, but that is Loomis. Loomis is fleeing Joe Turner. What is this play about? And can it be summarized in any simple way? Not really. But there's a simple plot. They're in a boarding house. Loomis is a strange character in the boarding house. Seth is the owner of the boarding house. And then a few other characters that come and go. Bynum is also living in that boarding house. And Bynum is a spiritual figure who's called Bynum, because as far as they're concerned, he binds people together. So he's a spiritual figure, and he's watching Loomis, and he thinks something is wrong with Loomis. But he knows that there's something that is going to come out of it. The play unfolds with different things happening, characters relating to each other, men and women trying to find themselves, and so on and so forth. But what turns the play is the arrival of Loomis's wife, Martha Pentecost, and the daughter to confront Loomis, to discover Loomis, and to find out what is happening with Loomis. But Loomis is also in search of his understanding of himself. So what I thought might be interesting is to listen to one of the key moments in the work where we can see the theme of the play being enacted, being articulated, and I think there's a great passage there's this wonderful piece that is worth listening to as we think about what is happening to it. So here's a piece. This is from a staging. Oh gosh, this must be done on Broadway in 1984 or something like that. But here
oh, Lord, come where for the links of
I don't like you singing that song, Miss.
Now, I ain't gonna have no more disturbance around here, Harold Loomis. You start any more disturbance, you're leaving here Saturday or no Saturday.
The man ain't causing no disturbance. Saturday just say he don't like the song. You a farming man, Harold Loomis? You look like you done some farm. Same as everybody. I don't farm, son, yeah.
I used to work at farm, picking cotton. I reckon everybody done picked some cotton. I ain't never picked no cotton. I was born up here in the north. My daddy was a freedman. I ain't never even seen no cotton.
Mr. Loomis done picked some cotton.
Ain't you, Harold Loomis? You done picked a bunch of cotton.
How you know so much about me? How you know what I done, how much cotton I picked?
I could tell from looking at you. My daddy taught me that. Say, when you look at a fella, if you taught yourself to look for it, you can see his song written on it. Tell what kind of man he is in the world. Now, I can look at you, Mr. Loomis, and I can see you're a man who done forgot his song, forgot how to sing it. A man forget that, forget who he is, forget how he's supposed to mark down life.
So that's a very interesting moment. He says, I can look at a man. This is Bynum talking, and he says, I can look at a man and I can tell whether the man has forgotten his song, has forgotten who he is. This is a really important theme in the work about people understanding who they are, because of course what happens with all of these people moving into the boarding house is that they're moving into the boarding house and they're leaving something behind. They're moving into the boarding house trying to forget something. And in a sense, what Wilson is doing is telling the trauma and the tragedy of African American lives, that these great migrations, which are an effort to come into a new place, to have a new life, are not always migrations into goodness and wonderful things, but they include within them the forgetting, the amnesia, the needful amnesia of the trauma of their past. So let's listen to it. So this is Bynum talking. Bynum is the spiritual figure, and he's really aggravating this guy Loomis, right? So Bynum continues.
I used to travel all up and down this road and that, looking here and there, searching. Just like you, Mr. Loomis. I didn't know what I was searching for. All I know, something was keeping me dissatisfied. Something wasn't making my heart smooth and easy. And then one day, my daddy gave me a song. Song had a weight to it. It was hard to handle. Song was hard to carry. I fought against it. Didn't want to accept that song. Tried to find my daddy to give him back that song. But I found out it wasn't his song. It was my song. It come from where? Deep inside me. I looked long back in memory and gathered up pieces and snatches of things in the making of that song. I was making it up out of myself. And that song helped me on the road. Made it smooth, to where my footsteps wouldn't bite back at me. And all the time, that song getting bigger and bigger, that song growing with each step of the road. It got so I used all of myself up in the making of that song. Then I became the song in search of itself, and that song rattling in my throat, and I'm looking for it. You see, Miss Loomis, a man forget a song, he goes off in search of it. till he find out he got it with him all the time. That's how I can tell you one of Joe Turner's niggas, because you forgot how to sing your song.
It's a very powerful moment. And the moment is that Bynum is confronting Loomis with the fact that he comes from that group of men that were being captured. But he calls it a song, and the idea of the song is hugely important to the way in which this piece works itself out. One last part for